Okay, we are continuing. In the late 19th century, Bizin Howard, a utopian sociologist, wrote a book on the gardens of the future. He was convinced that the then anti-human cities will be replaced by new, more rational cities. Contemporary people were trying to implement his dream. Now, 100 years on, new life is breathed into this idea. What are small cities and what promise do they hold for their denizens? It is my great pleasure to introduce Natalia Dankovtseva, technical director of an outfit in Rusatom, Anatoly Kurmanov, deputy head of the work group in Ministry of Russia for small cities, and Konstantin Romanov, deputy director for AI and digital products in VimpelCom, telecommunications company. And we are quiet, eerily. Hello. Right. Now let's talk about definitions. Why don't we give some kind of a broad definition for a smart city, Anatoly? A smart city is, that's obviously an intelligent city, and intelligent means unnoticeable. It's warm, it's comfortable, it's convenient, it's safe, and I mentioned that, it's secure, and you can extend the list. Well, the important thing is that the people living in it find it comfortable to live in. That's obviously a city that revolves around the needs of a human. How is artificial intelligence helping us with that, Natalia? Your definition. Or perhaps that's a woke city, because you can be warm, you can be a warm kitten. Because warm, that means you can gauge your own temperature. And you can offer something, if you're a small city, you can offer something to your citizens. So they're not on your own. And the hidden things, yes. On the hidden things we're going to talk separately, yes. Well, Konstantin, I'll probably say things about a smart city as a user, because for me, a smart city is a place for humans. Smart means when you're driving, and the green light is when you came up to it, and not when you are a mile out. The robot calls you to reschedule your appointment with a doctor. If you are late in a meeting and you're ordering a pizza, one push of a button for your near and dear at home because you're late. This is some kind of a predictive client journey that is seamless, that is simple, that you save a lot of time for yourself, for your family, for your near and dear, convenience and fun. I like the example of the traffic lights. I think every driver will want the green light to be there when he drives up. Now, Anatoly, artificial intelligence, what role does it play in the creation of smart cities, and just how can you extrapolate your experience across the country? Well, in Moscow we've got elements of a smart city. These are the technologies that can control urban planning. We've got several times better street cleaning, elevation cleaning. Is that camera imaging analyzed? Yes. Konstantin, what would you add to those examples of the problems that artificial intelligence is helping to resolve? Well, I would say that talking about the challenges and objectives, AI is just a means to an end. It's just about how you pack it up into an instrument to resolve a specific problem, be it a government or a private citizen. And Moscow is a case in point, how you can do a lot of things. You can obviously, Moscow is probably not the first in it, but the number of technologies that are being used in Moscow is close to that. Why don't we, illustrate, specific pains in Moscow? Perhaps one of the greatest pains, that's the driving. That's the amount of time that you spend on driving in Moscow. Moscow has been fighting it for many years, traffic jams, but the result has been pretty successful. And that's a graphic example of how a government can use the data, not just its own data, but the data from various operators about things going on in the city, traffic cameras, etc. And all of this is used to rationalize traffic flows, to manage traffic flows. It's an open secret. Moscow has published the outcomes of this. On average, a person now spends, instead of 90 or 120 minutes, about 45 minutes on getting to work and getting back. Public transportation, opening up of underground stations. We actually helped with finding better locations for underground stations. How did you do that? We actually identified overloaded stations, stations overloaded by either people living in the area or working locations. And this information actually helped to make specific decisions. And specifically, in our case, that helped us to bring down twice the foot traffic in the adjacent stations. Well, you can imagine what an underground station looks like during the rush hour. People come in now, and there is no rush hour per se. Well, rationalization of traffic flows, that's a contribution to the sustainable development of cities, is it not? What other contributions have there been? Well, I would say that this is not just about sustainable development, that's also about ESG. We've got good partnership story with Lisa Alert. That's the campaign that helps people that got lost. It's not just people that got lost in cities. People can get lost in cities and not just in a forest for all the various reasons. And we did this project placing a bit of information on the information system that a person got disappeared in a specific shop at a specific time. But that helped the project find 9 people out of 10 just because you showed the right place and the right time. And whoever spotted the person helped find the person. And that's just an example of social good that AI helped into being. I would agree that using computer vision to rationalize things that go on in the street or indoors, these examples are rife. The other day we discussed a project that was implemented. In medical institutions, it used to be a great problem. You come to a polyclinic, there were huge queues. You don't want to spend the time. You took some kind of a token and you went back. You went back home. Do certain things about your health yourself.
Since the time when healthcare institutions started to use predictive analytics to understand what is happening in what clinic at the particular point of time, and they understood, for instance, that 40% or 50% of the personnel are not present at the reception at the peak time. And the decision was made, and the waiting time decreased 4 times, and this is how the computer vision was used to resolve a problem for the people who go to the clinics. It's a very simple solution, by the way. Yeah, that's true. Rusatom implemented the smart city in hundreds of Russian cities? Yeah, more than 100, yeah. So what is the request from the regions? Why do they need a smart city? To be cool? To be in the vogue? To be in this IQ ranking? Well, usually there's a set of problems. We try to put it in one case. But usually there's a product that is... there are problems that are the same from across regions. This is a field product that works. There are video analytics problems that have been resolved. We try to also resolve problems in other fields related to the utilities, to the life services that people actually use every day. Now, this is a hard engineering level to resolve. But you see that actually, as the temperature rises or goes down, the radiator heater temperatures go down and up. The leaks are identified quicker. And that intelligent heating system is now used in Moscow, by the way. So we are communicating with cities. We have one window for the input. There are many channels for the citizens to input all the data, and it's very hard for the state to work in one window mode. We take analytics to make sure that everything is here, everything is analyzed, and we put another layer that is under estimated. It's utilities and direct services. Like we can use video analytics to monitor the waste collection points, for example. A city can save, and because the garbage trucks will go to the waste collection points that are actually full. Everything together, and there are some situation centers that are being ordered by the cities, like to see a panoramic view, 360 view. Sometimes it was siloed, but now it's like in one place. Can you give an example? Yeah, like deliver all the boards for all the ministers on the dashboard of a governor. We could get the data from the different ministries, and then we realized that it's one field of data. And as we work with the property areas of a region in order to show some problems, to show some problems with registration, with the borders of the property, limits of the property, and we can actually get all this data in one thing and give the condensed information. Sometimes citizens put some application. This system helps to remove the duplicated applications. So that's what we resolve, one of the problems that we resolve. But yeah, maybe the main story is the sensors that you can roll up to other layers. It's when you can monitor the stories that are relevant for us, like the heating, the water supply, and how it's going to affect the utility fees that we charge, that we pay. And then we can, to the governors, we show the more broad dashboard with, or not only with the energy consumption, but with the fee planning, by putting up the data of other ministries and by adding the fees. By the way, that's a very interesting thing, that's a very promising thing about energy efficiency and environmental protection. The role of AI in smart cities can actually do that, exactly that. Let's look at the future for a while, and I'll ask you to paint a picture of a smart city in 10, 15, maybe 20 years. What people will see, what they will experience experience and what they will not experience, and what opportunities does AI give us here? Well, I think we're talking about the cities that were able to gather data. Up to 1 minute precision weather forecast. Like if I haven't paid something, then it should be reflected in my wallet. And, with a push of a button, we should be able to do everything. I think it's possible, and it will actually help us not to focus on the things that we need to pay 10 bills, utility bills, but maybe we'll spend time on working on other added value industries, doing our job basically. In terms of security, I think the safety and security will be very seamless. We won't see this security layer, but I think it will be very voluminous, and it will be invisible. You shouldn't have these phobias that, someone is watching me. These data are going to be the daily work, and the security is going to be invisible, and work on these cases invisible. I do hope, and it's not by chance we're going from the digital economy to the economy of data, because any digital technologies, including AI and communications and geocommunication technologies and quantum compute and all the other tools, are tools and not anything else. And so I hope that in 20 years we will see this kind of a floating contracts, like brutto and netto contracts, when there's no limitations in terms of the schedule, for example, like there's no set schedule. The transportation company, transportation authority must make sure there are no people waiting on the stops. That's it. That will be the main indicator. And people who work in the cities, that's millions of people, they will enjoy a much better, much more comfortable environment. Konstantin, that's just great vision, by the way. Konstantin, your vision. I think in Saudi Arabia there is a city in the desert that was built from the scratch, and that's 100 kilometers of the wall. Like there's a 100-kilometer wall. The main concept: 5 minutes to reach any facility you need, anything you need in this life. You spend 5 minutes for the commute. 100% safety and security. Absolutely no criminal cases. Environmental protection, using only eco-friendly materials. The air is clean. And also, kind of a George Orwell story. Maybe it's a bit exaggerated, but if you kind of try to test drive it in the cities, it's something that actually is a smart city for people. When you go outside and you understand that nothing will happen with you, that you are breathing fresh air, and basically that currently we know how to hail a taxi to get your groceries delivered. All the issues will be resolved in one click in 5 minutes. And I would also add that we all want to live longer, and health is one of the priorities. For me, smart city is also about when something like my watch or my phone tells me something like you need to do this and that in your routine to live 10 years more. This is the kind of the entire package of the future, that's of the future services that I'm talking about, and seamlessness, because we shouldn't think about every minute that the smart city is kind of taking care of me. Thank you very much all. So AI helps people to better communicate not only with the nature but with the urban landscape, the development of the people themselves with the AI, and now the Symformer music. VimpelCom Sber AI solution.